Are you ready?
Oh, yeah!
Strap yourselves in for the Gaming Hub. With your hosts, Tyler.
You can't handle the truth!
Graham.
The force is strong in this one.
And Steven.
You cannot be serious!
Let's get started.
Alrighty then.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Gaming Hub. This is episode number 97. Thank you for joining us. And I'm joined, as always, by our two co-hosts. Let's start with Graham. Graham, how are you doing this week?
Well, I'm doing good. At this moment, it's summer has arrived in this part of Canada, at least at the moment. I'm forced to drink some cold beverages to keep cool, but other than that, my week has been good. Been rewiring in this house. It's a huge house. It's quite the adventure. As far as gaming, well, we know State of Decay 2 came out. We'll talk about that a bit later, let you guys know what I'm thinking, because I know you guys are wondering what I'm thinking of it. And obviously, I've been doing my Let's Play Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. For you people who don't know, it's posted on YouTube. It will be on our channel, which is the Gaming Hub podcast. And not only videos of me doing Breath of the Wild, but we got Tyler doing MLB 18, and we got Steven doing God of War. So if you guys are into those games, you should go check it out.
Awesome. So he mentioned Steve. Steve, how are you?
I did.
I'm doing well. Finals are finally over. I mean, I may have mentioned that last week, but now the grades came back. So like, and so I passed all my classes. Yay. Happy for that. And yeah, as far as gaming goes, I've been playing a lot. I've been slowly and surely making my way through God of War. And then I did play a little bit of State of Decay 2, and now this weekend I plan on playing a lot more God of War, and now that Dark Souls is out, hitting that pretty hard. And also maybe Detroit at some point in there eventually.
Eventually.
What about you, Tyler?
I'm doing pretty well. Kind of a busy week, but got to play a little bit. Played some MLB this week. Like Graham said, we're doing some videos for YouTube, so played some MLB. I always have a lot of fun with that game. So whether I'm playing Diamond Dynasty or franchise, and I'm doing franchise for YouTube, so actually having a lot of fun with that. It's a chance to kind of just talk baseball a little bit and post that up on YouTube. So if you like baseball, head on over and watch that. But also played some Call of Duty Black Ops 3. I said last week that I was thinking about doing that again. And I started it, and I want to continue through the campaign a little more maybe this weekend. I do want to try out State of Decay 2. We'll talk about it later. You guys have had a chance to play it a decent amount. I have not so much yet, but I'm definitely going to dive into Detroit this weekend. Detroit Become Human. That's a game I've been looking forward to for a long, long time. Since like the first time we saw it at E3, which was like a couple years ago. So definitely plan on kind of jumping into that this weekend and hoping that it lives up to the hype. It hasn't gotten the ratings and reviews that some of the other Sony exclusives have gotten recently, but I mean, an 8's still pretty damn good on average. Yeah. So we'll take that and we'll go with it, and hopefully it's a lot of fun. So with that, again, everybody, thanks for joining us. If you're listening on Dash Radio, welcome, and we'd love you to be part of our community. Best way to do that, make sure you subscribe first of all. So, and that's for anybody out there listening. If you're listening to us for the first time, we got some really cool stuff coming up for E3. And we'll definitely talk about that more next week. Next Friday will be our E3 predictions episode. So we'll be fully diving into E3 starting next episode number 98. But for now, the best way to make sure you get all that is to subscribe. And if you're a subscriber or you're just listening for the first time and you're like, I kind of, it sounds cool joining the community, but man, a lot of these video game communities are sort of toxic and, not some very nice people in there. Ours isn't like that.
We're nice people.
Yeah, we try to be. At least 2 out of 3 of us are, Steven. And
you know what I'm saying? 2 out of 3 ain't bad, right?
No, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Like 2 out of 3.
That's a D.
No, but if it's baseball, it makes you like the greatest player to ever play. So, yeah, I mean, no, we have a community full of people that are, positive gamers. We talk about gaming. We disagree on stuff, sure, but we do it respectfully, and And there's none of that toxic stuff that's in some of the other groups out there. We don't allow it. So feel free to join. We'd love to have you. And now's the best time there has been to join. We're going to have giveaways like crazy for the next month. And the only way to really take advantage of that and have a chance to win is to be part of the community and ask questions for us to read. So on the show, next week we're going to do our monthly giveaway, wrapping up month of May. And I'm going to tell you the episode right before E3, good chance we have a bunch of giveaways that one. And then every single E3 episode we do, by the way, there's going to be like 6 or 7 of them. We're going to have giveaways for every single one of those as well. And they're not going to be like tiny giveaways. They're going to be pretty damn cool. So we invite you to join the community. How can you do that, you ask? Head on over to Facebook. Look up the Gaming Hub forums on Facebook and join that way. You can go over to Twitch, TXH Gaming Hub on Twitch, and when you're there, you've got links to every single other way to join. Discord is the community that's probably growing the fastest right now, and it's a super easy way to communicate. If you're not familiar with it, it's basically like a message board. Really easy to communicate and have a lot of fun. We take questions there as well, so we'd love for you to come and join using that. Like Graham said, we have a YouTube channel, the Gaming Hub Podcast on YouTube. And I want to remind you, we are the official podcast of the XboxHub.com, which also has a sister site, the SwitchHub.com. So you can catch all the latest in your Xbox and Switch news. And if you're thinking like, hey, I'm a PlayStation fan, what about me? We talk about PlayStation a ton on this show, so don't worry about that. But again, welcome to the show. We are happy to have you, and we'd love to see you become part of the community. So please go do that. No better time than now to join and take part. With that, guys, let's head into some news.
In the news.
So Battlefield 5 officially revealed this week. Kind of cool. No premium pass.
Awesome.
Yeah. And no official Battle Royale. They're going to do it a little bit differently. So Grand Operations Mode is going to have a sort of Battle Royale called Last Man Standing. And in that, if players fight to a stalemate through the first 3 rounds, Last Man Standing will have limited resources, and every player left will just have 1 clip in the 4th round. So sort of like Battle Royale there, and it plays till there's just like 1 person left. It also
I think
has,
this is a great way to do it.
I do too. So we also have Combined Arms Mode. Kind of cool. Players complete tasks in a group of 4 before extracting. And this, Graham, you might not like this analogy.
Oh, no.
I know. But
It's coming. It's coming, isn't it?
Yep. This sounds a lot like The Division. Where you go do some stuff and you got to decide, like, do we want to extract now and take what we have, or do we want to try to push on and get a little bit more? That's kind of the hook for that mode. And that's the big new mode that they have so far. So, Graham, with it having the backing of Battlefield, is it something that you're okay with?
Yes, I am okay with it, actually. Like, I watched the reveal trailer, I kind of read up on it, and I watched other like videos, and overall, I'm excited for this game. And I was really excited for Battlefield 1, but I didn't give it the attention that it deserved. And plus, like, it came out with, obviously, it had to be paid content. And I really didn't want to spend it because I didn't play it before. So I'm like, okay, if I buy this, I'm probably not going to play it. So it's probably going to be a waste of money. But now that there's no premium pass, now 100% sure I will get Battlefield 5. And I'm excited for it. And I do like what they're doing where they got rid of like, it's kind of like Battle Royale, but you know how like we're talking about, oh, we're so sick of Battle Royale because everybody's like, oh, we'll put in Battle Royale. We'll put in Battle Royale. So this their way is like, well, the people kind of want Battle Royale and people don't. So let's kind of like compromise, meet them in the middle. So I think this is awesome. I'm curious to see how often this will happen. And if it doesn't happen enough or to stalemate, that they might just try to switch it up, or they might just make a mode where, okay, everyone's has 1 clip, every man for themselves. So it'd be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, for sure. So, Graham, I'll take the blame for you not getting too far into Battlefield 1. Because
good.
Back
I
then,
need somebody to
like,
blame.
yeah, I know. But back then, we talked so much about on the show about Battlefield 1 and Titanfall 2, and I remember that very distinctly. And super hyped for those games. And Graham, you went and got them. You were going to play them
Yes.
with us, and then what ended up happening is I got this new job, and I had to go like travel and stay in a hotel for training for like 7 out of 10 weeks, and never got to play these games. I know, I never got to play them at launch, so I was gone for like the entirety of like October into like halfway through November. So by the time I got back, it was like other stuff had come out. So Graham's sitting here with these games, and he wants somebody to play with, and there's like nobody to play, because I'm not there, and hotel internet sucks, and you can't play Battlefield on hotel internet, even though I took my Xbox with me. But
I know.
yeah, so I'll take the blame for that, Graham. But Graham, that's not going to be the case this time around. At least I'm not aware of any sort of promotion coming my way in the near future. Can't see that occurring. So
I'll sabotage any promotion.
All right, great.
As soon as you say there's a chance you might be going out, like where's Graham? He's been missing for a while.
Yeah. So no, that won't be the case this time around. I'm looking forward to it. I've generally enjoyed. I didn't play much Battlefield 3. I played a lot of Battlefield 4 though. Played some Battlefield Hardline. Steve, I know that was kind of your favorite, and then Battlefield 1 I really enjoyed. So let me turn it to Steve here. What are your thoughts on Battlefield kind of taking this approach? It's going to World War II. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I like that it is focusing on things that aren't like in every other game or movie that focuses on World War II. Like they're not going to be doing, the storming the beaches of Normandy type stuff, or like literally every other game that features World War II. It's going to be the little smaller stuff, and that's cool because they can tell stories that don't normally get told. And so I'm interested to see that. I like the fact that there's no premium pass. It's really annoying that like Call of Duty and Battlefield charge like $50 for their expansions just to get the extra content. And it's part of the reason why like I don't play much shooters anymore, is because I don't need to spend $110 for a game that I know I'm not going to play like all that much. Like I like playing about an hour or two of the multiplayer like once every like month, but it's hard to be, good at a game when you're only playing it every so often. But I'm just kind of like shootered out. I used to play them all the time. Now it's like, another shooter. I don't want to do this. But Battlefield 5 looks good enough that I might think about picking it up, especially over like Call of Duty, because I know with Call of Duty I'm gonna need to spend extra money to get all the content, where Battlefield now is gonna have it for free. So that's pretty awesome. As far as the Battle Royale mode or whatever you want to, it's called Last Man Standing. Yep. That's an interesting feature. I don't much like Battle Royale, but again, I think that has more to do with the shooters, just being tired of shooters in general over the Battle Royale like type of game. But this does sound interesting. I'm interested to see how it plays out. I think it'll feature some really cool moments with players only having a magazine, not a clip.
Yeah,
I'll tell you right now, I'm going to run out of that magazine. So now I'm wondering, do I have to run after somebody and try to melee them? Because that's probably what's going to happen. So I'll probably be that guy dying, running after him with a bayonet or something, trying to take him out, and he'll be just taken out.
Well, and to be fair, the official release said, a clip, so calm down. But so what are your thoughts? We all watched the trailer. The trailer looked really like frenetic. Like there's a lot going on.
There is a lot going on.
So are you hoping that the gameplay reflects that? Do you want it to be that busy?
No.
While it's going on? Okay.
I mean, kind of. It's just for me, Battlefield, the reason I don't like Battlefield over Call of Duty is because I just think vehicle gameplay sucks. I hate walking for 5 minutes to go after the next objective to get sniped and then have to do it all over again. Really annoying. Whereas like Call of Duty, you spawn in, you run around for like a minute or two if you're lucky, get some kills, die, spawn back in 5 seconds later, and the action's right there.
But the thing is, they made it so you can spawn in on your teammates too. So it kind of takes away from that a lot now. Like, unless everybody dies on your squad, but then if you have a checkpoint too, you could go in on there. So I know way back in the day, like maybe Battlefield 3 or 4, like I remember running forever and just hating it. So like Battlefield 1 did fix those problems a lot. So I know where your hate is. What's that?
You've been able to spawn on your teammates for a while. It wasn't just that. It was also
spawn on vehicles too.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, I much preferred Call of Duty over Battlefield. But I did like Hardline the best because it was smaller maps, less vehicles, and I thought the game modes were much more fun. And it's the reason why I like Rainbow Six Siege so much, is that they're small maps, tactical, you have to have good communication. The game sucks by yourself, but if you have a good group of friends, the game's really fun because you have to work together to accomplish goal, and it's on small maps. And that's why I liked Hardline. On the, like, I forget the name of the mode, but the hostage rescue game mode is my favorite.
Okay.
Sorry, I was gonna talk about the trailer too, the part where you can drag people behind cover from the revive. And the thing is, like, you don't have to be a medic now to revive people. Anybody can revive, but medic is the only one who can like give them health and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's really cool. So I want to point this out though. The difference, like Steven, and I want to kind of go back to you here, is like Call of Duty. You can play team deathmatch, right? And it's two big teams, and the action, you're right, is super close quarters, and no matter pretty much where you spawn, you're in the action really fast. But Call of Duty Battlefield, I'm sorry, takes a different approach. It's got the squads, right? So each squad should, in theory, stay together, and it's played best if you have a bunch of people, a group of friends playing together in one squad, and you're kind of trying to capture an objective, and all these squads work in tandem. So hopefully there's not that much having to run like clear across the map. You should be able to spawn on somebody in your squad, and I just don't think it lets you if they're like under fire at the moment.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But otherwise, you can spawn on somebody in your squad or on a vehicle or whatever. And if you start spawning with other people and not in your squad, then it increases your chances of losing. So it's a different kind of strategy that goes into winning in these two games. I mean, a shooter's a shooter, but whereas in Call of Duty, like, he who gets the most kills wins. In Battlefield, that's not necessarily the case. Like, if you're just out to have a high KDR, you might not be helping your team so much as you need to. So, like, is that part of what doesn't appeal to it, Steve, or is it the map size mostly, or what is it?
It's a little of the map size too, because I remember, I think it was Battlefield 3. Yeah, when it had I'm pretty sure it was 3. The rush mode. I know they've had it in a few of the other Battlefields.
Yes.
But they were on smaller maps, and like you'd go to objective A and B, and you'd have to work to plant the bomb. And I think we played this on Battlefield 1, together. So I know they brought it back, but they're smaller. You don't have to worry so much about vehicles, and it's just like the maps are like medium size. Whereas like I've played the Conquest.
Yeah.
I think that sounds right.
It's Conquest. Yep.
And the maps are gigantic, and it's just like 30-minute. It feels like the matches are like 30 minutes long.
They are
long.
They are long.
And
like,
I don't.
Like 200
I don't. So it's all of that. It's all of that. It just comes together to me like. Ugh. It's like I play one game and I'm done. Like I said, like I don't play shooters that much for long periods of time anymore. The last time I sat down and played Call of Duty World War II, we probably played for like an hour and a half. Halo 5 was about the same. Like it's a good hour and a half, and I'm okay. I mean, this was fun. It was a nice little like reprieve. It's not the days of old where I used to play Call of Duty 4 from literally 8 a.m. in the morning until like 3 a.m. the next day.
Yeah. but you can admit that Battlefield has improved each iteration, like because they have like I forget the word I'm looking, but they have adjusted so it appeals to other people that like smaller maps. Because like I said, they introduced Rush and stuff like that, so they know some people don't enjoy that. So then you can play maps where there are no vehicles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I like how they try to do it to appeal, and now they're doing this like kind of battle royale style because they're trying to appeal to everyone, which I really like. And the fact that these kept in single player, like some people like the war stories thing, some people don't. But the thing is, they are giving you a single player. I'm looking at you, Call of Duty. Some people really like that single player.
Some do.
But I'm okay with that because basically if I own Call of Duty, I would just buy it for the single campaign. Because I'm not big on the multiplayer of Call of Duty. I'd rather play Battlefield, see the complete destruction, and like sometimes the most chaotic thing happened to you. Like I remember, like back when the buildings used to topple over and like it just crumbled in front of you. And like holy crap! Like that thing was amazing, especially when you're got like 7.1 surround sound, like headphones on, or like the actual surround sound. The game sounds amazing. So I would always choose Battlefield over Call of Duty for that reason.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I disagree with that. They've gotten better each iteration. I enjoyed playing Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 3, especially with the Vietnam expansion, more than any Battlefield since, besides Hardline. But Hardline was arguably for different reasons. Yeah. And I understand why, like the core Battlefield fans hated Hardline. But it was a good game. Just I haven't found the magic of. Like the Vietnam expansion was one of my favorite expansions of all time. I think for a game that's not a story expansion, that expansion was awesome. Heck, even Battlefield 1942, the little $20 arcade game on the 360, I put more time in than the Battlefield 4 or Battlefield 1, and probably Battlefield 5.
Remember one year of 1942 was the. Like the surprise. Remember when they had like a really cool like Days of Christmas thing, and like on the last day of it, 1942 was the thing you could either get it for free or like super cheap. I don't remember what it was, but for me though, like when you talk about Battlefield, what I love about it is that in most shooter games online, you're really only helping your team if you rack up kills. And that's really basically it. Whereas in Battlefield, and particularly in Conquest, there's so many things you can do to help support your team that aren't getting kills if you're not the type of player that has a super high KDR, or you just like to play a different way, or whatever it is. There's a lot of things you can do, and I think, Graham, that's what appeals to you.
Yes, I would say I'm glad you mentioned that too, because the new Battlefield 5, they introduced more of that stuff where I don't know if you're a different class, but you have this toolbox and you can actually like reinforce like buildings like with like sandbags, and you can do the building aspect of it, and you can put it like barbed wire and stuff like that, and you can like make it easier for people who are better at shooting and stuff like that. So like for me, like I'm not great at like shooting, and my KDR is probably atrocious to most people. But the thing is, like I can contribute in other ways. So that's another way how like Battlefield's like, okay, what can we do to make this better? And I feel like that's what they do.
Yeah, so I'm the same way. And real quick, Steve.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, like, Graham, first of all, like, I love you, but when I play with you, I always play as a medic because I'm going to rack up points like crazy.
I allow you to contribute. I die for you, man.
Well, you get hurt for me, and then I heal you. Yeah, I just wherever Graham is, I throw down like the medical thing, and Graham just heals.
Yeah, I just
constantly.
Die, fall out, and then I'll come back.
Yeah. So, but I love that there's different ways to contribute. And Steve, to your other point, and then I'll throw it back to you here. Like Battlefield has modes in it where the maps are significantly smaller, and we touched on a couple of them. But there's plain old deathmatch in Battlefield 2 where the maps are considerably smaller than Conquest. And Conquest is the like primary premier mode in Battlefield, and I think that's where the comparison comes from, because in Battlefield that's like the flagship mode, whereas in Call of Duty it's deathmatch. So what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, now that I think about it, another reason I might not have enjoyed Battlefield, especially recently, now that my eyes have been getting older as I get older, like I'm colorblind. And the browns on the browns on the browns on the browns make it hard sometimes to see. So I probably should just fuck around with the colorblind mode a little bit, to be honest. I always forget to do it. There was what was it? Just State of Decay. No. Fortnite. Fortnite has a really in-depth like colorblind mode that I turned on and I messed with, and I turned the amount of like how sensitive it was, and I could actually like see pretty well. Like I'm not like black and white colorblind. You know, I can see color. It's just certain colors mix, and games like Battlefield have people that like tend to look alike, like with the background, and it makes it hard and it kind of sucks. And that partially could be why I haven't been enjoying them recently. So I'll give Battlefield 5 a go, and I hope we do play it because I do like playing shooters.
Oh, we
with
will.
people.
Damn right you will.
But then I've played shooters with you guys, so then I don't necessarily always want to continue playing shooters with with you guys, because for those who are new, they're not the best. They're not the best shooters.
We're not the worst either, but
I've played Halo with you. No, I kid. I do have a question though. That if you guys like doing the stuff that's not the killing aspect, and like doing the other stuff, how come like games like Overwatch didn't appeal to you guys? How come you didn't play more of that?
Well, I enjoyed Overwatch. When it came out, I just didn't really have anybody to play with.
That was my issue.
That was the problem. Like everybody else was not into
too.
it. Yeah. So well, we could, like, there's 3 of us now, but
and it's
I've mentioned it.
It's the right price.
For the weekend.
Yeah, that last meeting I could try it and see if I like it.
Yeah.
I'd rather try it when it's free and realize, nope, I don't like it, instead of buy it and then I play it and like, yeah, I don't like it. So
that's true.
Given the options.
So the other thing I'll say Overwatch wise is like, I don't know, and this is being really finicky, picky, whatever, is like the cartoony aspect doesn't appeal to me as much.
Didn't like cartoons as a kid growing up?
Well, sure, but not when it comes to like shooters and whatever.
Yeah, no,
So
I know.
Tyler was not a big Splatoon fan.
No, I was not. And Splatoon, like, it's great and it's good and whatever.
And
like,
knowing where it is.
That's true. I have a Switch, Graham. I just don't know where it is. So
like, where's Baldo?
I'm probably Switch? I know, but I'm probably going to try to find it for tennis when that comes out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but
if we're still talking on Battlefield, I don't know if you're going off.
Actually, go ahead.
Battlefield 1942 is backwards compatible on Xbox One now.
Nice.
Yeah, but I have like no interest in going back.
No,
it was just one of those games that was
Battlefield.
Yeah.
It's World War II. You want to kind of get back into the World War II groove. Don't shoot the messenger. Just messenger.
Yeah, no, it's just that game was awesome at the time, especially because if I remember correctly, it came out in the summer. Like I think it might have been a Summer of Arcade title, so there was like nothing else around it, and it was like the perfect storm of just for $20 you get a Battlefield experience that was actually really fun.
Yeah.
But
speaking of summer game releases, by the way, Xbox is celebrating the anniversary of Summer of Arcade right now.
Ooh,
and
well,
I find it ironic that they're celebrating that they're like actually pointing out the anniversary of something that people want to come back so badly, but they don't bring it back.
Is that irony or is that a hint?
Well, maybe. I mean, E3's coming, and that would be a really good way for them to generate some excitement again around the Xbox brand. And again, everybody, we're going to have our E3 predictions next episode, so make sure you subscribe if you haven't yet. But yeah, I find it ironic that they're doing that. But there's some really cool sales right now to commemorate that anniversary on some of these games, some of these older games. So head on over to the Xbox Store and take a look at that if you're into that. So my last point on Battlefield is like one of the reasons I prefer it. And Steve, it plays exactly to what you're talking about with the colorblindness, but I when it comes to shooters and like war shooters in particular, I kind of like the earthy tones more than just the vibrant colors and stuff, and I know that creates an issue for you, and that contributes to why you might not like it so much. But that it's one of the reasons also that I really love like Call of Duty Modern Warfare, or Call of Duty 4. There were a lot of earth tones in that game too. It was a more of a gritty shooter, versus some of the stuff we saw later from Call of Duty. And that's just it's a tiny thing, but it's one of those things that I just prefer. And I don't know about you. And then I completely contradict myself when I say that Halo is my favorite shooter, because that is not Earth Tones at all.
Definitely not.
But
you're not even on Earth.
yeah, but when it comes to those when it comes to those military shooters, I tend to prefer that. The last question I want to throw to you guys is when it comes to the single player, I think they're doing something really cool. And Steve, you kind of alluded to it earlier, where the single player stories are going to be focused on some of those more peripheral World War II stories that aren't the super well-known ones. So we're not going to see stories on D-Day. We're not going to see stories on Battle of the Bulge. We're going to see stuff from the Norwegian Resistance and things like that.
Yeah.
Does that appeal to you?
Know nothing about.
Yeah. Does that appeal to you, Graham? Not that it's an opportunity to learn from playing, because there's always some liberties taken, right? And some
some I know,
stuff.
For sure.
But so don't think of it as a history lesson.
Yeah.
But
more of a history lesson than I know of it, though. Really.
Yeah.
My war knowledge is pretty minimal. It's probably the older Call of Duty games I played on PC or whatever, where they're talking they had the old school black and white footage and showing the airplane going over the map and stuff like that. So I do enjoy where it's a little bit of education. I know a little bit's exaggerated, kind of the movie Titanic. We know a ship went down, but all that other stuff, right? They just do that to boost it up. So, but I do enjoy that aspect of it, and then I do learn kind of things like that, and I'm dying anyway, so I might as well get a little bit of education while I'm dying, right? So,
yeah.
I mean, in the game, I'm not dying in real life.
Yeah. Well, good. We're glad.
Yeah, thank you.
So, a couple things. First of all, that is the last time Titanic will ever be mentioned on this show. Second,
that's all I could think of. A disaster that happened.
Yeah, no, you're right though, and that lot. I mean, pretty much every war movie ever has taken liberties, right? For for story purposes, so and entertainment purposes. But
Rambo, there was no guy just took on the whole world.
No, but I'm talking things that are based on real events. So even We Were Soldiers or Saving Private Ryan even took some liberties, things like that. But Steve, does it appeal to you to get some of those lesser known stories told? And does it make you want to play that single player more?
It depends. It interests me.
That's a terrible answer.
Well, I know, but it interests me. But like I said, I just get so bored with shooters, man. And Wolfenstein, I understand that it's a fun game, but it's a shooter. And so, I tried playing through on the easiest difficulty and didn't make it probably a quarter of the way through the game. It wasn't hard, and I could have played on a tougher difficulty.
So wait, the first one?
Yes, and so
Wow.
I haven't even played the second one because I just I'm just so shootered out, to be honest.
Okay, I mean that's fair. That happens.
Oh, it does.
But I thought the first Wolfenstein was fantastic, super good.
Yeah, and the story was cool, but again, it was just super long, and I was I just don't want to shoot things anymore. So if they're quick, hour and a half, 2 hour stories, then I'm more likely to play it than if it's a 5 or 6 hour per story.
And that's exactly what they are, Steve.
Yes.
They're short. They're an hour and a half type thing per story, and they're separate stories. So.
That's what I figured. So as long as if that's the case, then I can hit one every month and never really feel lost because I'm not.
Yeah, exactly.
Jumping,
you don't need to know the story. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and they kind of introduce you to all the environments in the game and all that type of thing too. And so I'm sure it'll be somewhat of a tutorial for mechanics for some things and stuff like that. Because the first one was there were some of the stories where you were in a tank, and then. You had the pigeon and stuff like that, right? So there were different things introduced in each type of story.
Yeah, and they're gonna have time to, I guess not really DLC because they're not doing, but they're having timed events where I think they said the first one's gonna start in November and end in early the following year. So like, and basically it's going to be a story from the war. Like it'll have some historical like background to it.
Yeah.
So I really like that aspect of it too. So if you get tired of doing that, like, or you finish the campaign or the war stories, then it seems like they're gonna throw out more stuff to keep other people like interested that like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing I hope they continue to focus on before we move on here is I thought Battlefield 1 did something really different and special in terms of gaming. So many like war video games, Call of Duty, looking at you here. Like Call of Duty's about celebrating like the glory of war in a lot of ways. And there's some gritty, like down, depressing moments in Call of Duty stories, like Call of Duty 4. For one. But Battlefield 1 was very much about the horrors of war. And that first, like when you first load the game and you're playing, like you don't come out of that alive and you keep dying as different soldiers.
Yeah.
Like no matter how many you take out, like you're outnumbered and you're gonna go down eventually. So it tells that story of like, this is what this war was. And I think from a history standpoint, like that's, you know, nice to see, like, we're looking at it from that standpoint, too, because that's what World War One was in a lot of ways. It was a war of attrition.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool, and I kind of hope some of that tone stays around for this one. Not that I want it to be a downer for everybody, but I kind of hope that
It's war.
Yeah, it's war. It's not meant to be fun.
Yeah. No, and
in
like,
all ways.
To add to that, too, like, when I was playing the war stories in Battlefield 1, like the thing is, like, you play and you die, and sometimes like I die like right away, like something like stupid, like I ran out when I shouldn't have, and then like that the date comes up, like how long you lived. I'm like, that could actually happen to somebody. Like someone was like, well, good, and they get up and run and they just die. So pretty much like it almost felt like every time I died is like it was almost how somebody could have actually died in war. So
Yeah.
I'm like when you see that, I'm like, wow, I was 22 and now I'm dead. Like
Right?
stuff like
Yeah.
that is
I mean,
it's pretty crazy actually.
It is crazy and it's different. It makes it sort of impactful. And
Yeah.
Steve, I want to let you close on this because you're the one who's actually been to war out of us. You know, does that part of a video game resonate with you, or would you rather just have the pure escapism?
I like the escapism more than the grittiness. I feel like movies do a better job of storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So like if or like Band of Brothers, like that was one of the best.
Oh yeah. For sure.
And so
Yeah.
that's where I watch my like realism. So like Call of Duty is just kind of over the top, not take yourself too seriously, kind of like. I enjoy that more.
Yeah, and that's totally fair, and that's why I asked you because, you know, that side of it is important too. And I studied a lot of history in college and graduate school, so like that piece of it that Battlefield brings for me is super interesting. But your perspective's different, so I think that, you know, that's important to know. So there's different audiences that appeal, you know, different things appeal to. So these two games kind of fill different like needs for gamers, I guess, in a way. But on the note of shooters, because we haven't talked about them enough yet, because we just heard about the new Call of Duty title, just what, a week and a half ago. So now we're already hearing rumors for Call of Duty in 2019 that it's going to be Modern Warfare 4. It is Infinity Ward's turn in this, and next year. So Modern Warfare 4. Steve, you were a huge fan of Call of Duty 4.
I am.
Is Modern Warfare 4 the game you want?
I guess it's again. I'm kind of shootered out.
Right.
So
Take that part out of it. But like, if you gotta play one, and they're gonna make one, is Modern Warfare 4 their best option for you?
Yeah, and I hope they continue with like Captain Price, because he was one of my favorite characters in like video games, and like McTavish, and like I've been replaying through Call of Duty 4, and I love playing the SAS missions. I don't really much care for the Marine Corps missions, but the SAS missions are cool, and I like those characters a lot. And I haven't played Modern Warfare 3 in a long time, or the second one, but I'm excited for that remaster to get back characters, and I kind of hope 3 gets remastered. I'm pretty sure it's backwards compatible, and if it is, I'll just play it that way.
Okay.
But I like those characters, so if they stick to that, I'd be down for Modern Warfare 4. I know you have an idea of what they might be doing, and that does not interest me in the slightest, but I'll let you speak on your idea.
I will, but first I'm going to throw it to Graham. Graham, did you finish or play the Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare story?
What Call of Duty? Oh, yes, I done Modern Warfare 1 and Modern Warfare 2.
Okay.
That's where it ended. Like when Steven said those names, I remembered those names.
Yeah, it does.
I remember them, but I remember them.
But that says something about how like iconic that is in the shooter genre. Those games that we remember those characters. And how many shooter characters just come and go? Like we know Master Chief and we know Marcus Phoenix. We know other characters from popular shooters, but like the ensemble cast, like. How often do you remember those characters like 10 years later? And that's how good those games were, and especially in a series where you get a game every year. So I think it's really cool. But my thought on this, and Steve, I'll go back to you because I know you're not super excited about it. But we just saw Treyarch unveil Call of Duty or Black Ops 4, and they're having Battle Royale, which has gotten good reception so far, like everything we've seen, and hopefully we'll see more of it at E3 in terms of like real gameplay, stuff like that, and what the map looks like. But they're drawing from everything from the Black Ops series in terms of like the cool locations and the weapons and everything from across these 4 games to create one giant map for
lots of running,
for Battle Royale. Yeah, it's lots of running. But my thought is, like, is that why we're going back to Modern Warfare right now so we can do the same thing with the Modern Warfare series? And so let me throw it to you to get your thoughts on that.
I would much rather see like a prequel to like Call of Duty 4 with the SAS team. Like I really liked Captain Price. And I know you got the sniper mission. I'm going to take that to my grave as that being one of my favorite missions in all of shooter video game history. Some of the Halo levels are up there as well, but the sniper level I could replay all the time. It just was so well done. But yes, I do think that if it's Modern Warfare 4, they're going to have a Battle Royale mode, assuming people still kind of like Battle Royale. But then again, those big AAA titles seem to always be like a year or 2 behind, like when people get burnt out with stuff. So we're probably going to see it. And yes, it's going to have all like the big mission or maps that everyone loved from the years of Modern Warfare all together in one giant Battle Royale map. And people are going to play the shit out of it. And honestly,
does that get you excited though?
I'd play it probably more than I would this Blops 4 Battle Royale, to be honest. So yeah, a little, I guess.
Okay, I mean that's fair.
I'd rather have a single player campaign.
I can't see Infinity Ward not doing a single player campaign for Modern Warfare.
I truly can't. Let's see the reception that Black Ops 4 gets.
Well, the stories have kind of surfaced that Treyarch was working on a single-player campaign for Black Ops 4, and they just couldn't get it done. So they went this route. So it doesn't sound like the decision was made at the very beginning, like we're not going to have campaign.
Now, I do have a hypothetical for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
What are the chances that we see a standalone Modern Warfare Battle Royale game that is like what you said, like all the maps and the key locations all in one thing, but that's all it is? It's Battle Royale. There's no other game modes, no single player, no normal team
like
deathmatch.
Fortnite then.
Yes, exactly like Fortnite or PUBG.
Or PUBG, yeah.
PUBG. Graham, you love it when I say it the one way. But something like PUBG's, like $30 for the map, and you get the Call of Duty locations. Though, it's Activision, so they'll charge $60 for it, but
Yeah.
That's beside the point.
Well, what do you think
is
the what do you
likelihood
think? What do you think the chances are that we see Treyarch do that with Black Ops 4, like later down the road, maybe next February, March, we see
DLC.
just not DLC. We see just the Battle
Standalone
Royale
game.
as a standalone, maybe for $5-10, maybe even free to play with microtransactions. What do you think of the chances of that?
$5 or $10? No chance in hell. That thing will be 30.
Yeah, but what if they offer the microtransactions though?
I still don't see it because, like, I was looking at Black Ops 3, right, on the Black Ops 2 on backwards compatibility on the Xbox 360 or like in the Xbox store the other day.
Mhm.
They're still charging $50 for that thing. That is ridiculous. There's no way.
Oh,
I'm paying
for sure. The best deal you can get on the Call of Duty games is if you're a PlayStation owner. Like at work today, I saw it. The packs of like Black Ops 1, 2, and 3 was like $30, and it's a release. Has all 3 games, $30, and same thing for Modern Warfare, 1, 2, and 3, $30. Like those are the best deals you can get. But like on the Xbox store, yeah, they're still like individually sold, sure.
So it would not. I would see $30 with microtransactions because they can, and so because they can, they will.
I don't see a standalone battle royale from Call of Duty.
I don't see it either, actually. But
Maybe
if
it's
it did
because I
happen,
don't want to.
it would be my price. Well,
Yeah.
well, at least for what Tyler was saying, I could see Modern Warfare, like what the Modern Warfare 4 idea, Battle Royale, being standalone.
But Steve, you had an idea like off show when we were chatting for a battle royale mode or like a theme franchise that would make a lot of sense and be just freaking awesome and would get me to play.
Yes.
What was it?
Star Wars.
Yes.
I mean, it just makes sense. There's so many areas you could have, all in one like map, and if you all played as like stormtroopers or whatever, that'd be kind of cool with blasters and. I honestly think about playing that one as well. I think the two most likely ones that'll get me into the craze are Modern Warfare 4 if it has it, or Star Wars, which is almost guaranteed not to have it, not to happen. Though it would be interesting if for Battlefront 2, a game that I keep forgetting exists until I stop forgetting it exists.
Yeah.
If they offered like a DLC expansion for free or whatever with a like exactly what we said, like battle or a battle royale mode. And I'd honestly think about going back.
I would too. I don't think Graham would. Graham didn't have very much fun with that. But
No, like it doesn't appeal to me. If I'm gonna play Battle Royale, I'll play PUBG. I did try Fortnite, but overall, I think the mechanics work better in Fortnite. But I don't need an abundance of Battle Royale. I have one that I can choose and go to, and that's fine for me.
Mm-hmm.
You're playing the wrong one, but it's okay.
Well, so Steve, you brought up something earlier, like the big, huge games, right? The AAAs. They tend to do copycat, right?
Yes.
And they don't bring it out right away. And I think part of that's because, like, these smaller companies are more willing to take chances, whereas these big AAA games, they want to play it safe because they want to keep the base they already have. Whereas, like, these smaller games are like, screw it, we don't have a base anyway, let's do something cool and new. And hopefully it attracts people, and Battle Royale was lightning in a bottle, and it's something a lot of people really love. And I think it's a statement on gaming in general. Like these bigger games, these bigger companies don't take a lot of chances with doing new stuff, and they end up just trying to copy what's out there. And there's a chance that by the time Modern Warfare 4 comes out, if they're planning on Battle Royales being like the centerpiece of all of that online experience, that Battle Royale will kind of run its course by then.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
we'll see.
you mentioned that, and it made me think of something. It's a little off topic, so I mean, I don't know how far down the rabbit hole we want to go.
Sure.
But isn't that kind of like Microsoft's problem? is
Yes.
it almost seems like they're afraid to take chances. Which
They are.
is stupid because they're behind and they need to take chances. Sony is putting out games that are arguably like taking chances, like Horizon Zero Dawn. Now, granted, robot dinosaurs, like that's pretty awesome and was probably not going to fail. But like Detroit Become Human, that game, how many people are like, we're asking for that? That's a risk. Sony takes risks, and sometimes, it takes 10 years for the game to come out. But for the most part, it comes out pretty good. So Microsoft needs to start taking some chances. And I think maybe we'll touch upon that more in our prediction episodes. So I'll wait for that. But
we'll cover that. I think we'll cover that then, because that'll take us down a giant rabbit hole. And I have a lot to say on that. So hang on to that and kind of tune in next week, everybody. We'll cover that then, because Microsoft's the one in a weird spot right now. And they have a lot to prove this year at E3.
Yes.
So we'll be talking about that kind of as we go. And it wasn't always the case where they had like a ton to prove. They were in a pretty good place 2 years ago, and all of a sudden now they're really not again. Yeah, and it's just really weird. But so I want to talk though about October this year. So October is suddenly, because Battlefield's coming out in October as well. October suddenly turned into a really busy month for games, especially if you like any games that involve going pew-pew at all. So you got Call of Duty, you got Battlefield, and you have Red Dead Redemption. I keep wanting to say Death Stranding. Red Dead Redemption. I wish Death Stranding was coming out this year. You've got those 3 games coming out within like 2.5 to 3 weeks of each other.
And there could be more that
they're all a week apart. Starting from Call of Duty to Red Dead, it's Call of Duty 1, then Battlefield, and then Red Dead.
So my first question is this. Do you think Battlefield eliminated Premium Pass in order to create the appeal for it as the best option because the window is that?
It's quite possible.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea.
And I think people are still kind of upset with EA over
sure.
Battlefront. Yeah. So that had something to do with it.
Yeah, that's true too. Could be some kind of
and
damage
on top,
control.
by the way, on top of no Premium Pass, there's no like microtransactions in Battlefield at all. And loot crates either. It's all cosmetic stuff. So you're gonna get guns by leveling up and earning them and just playing the game. They really stress that during the reveal that you get better just by playing. That's it. So
like it used to be in Call of Duty, simplicity was the name of the game in COD 4, and I liked that, and I kind of missed that.
So and there's a whole other conversation to be had about like how do developers kind of generate more revenue, because the price of games haven't changed in way over 10 years. Closer to 15, I think, or more. But the cost of producing these games and creating them has gone up quite a bit. So how do they continue to generate revenue with games still being $60? Do they just raise the price or not? But that's a whole different conversation. Is October too busy, do you think, already? Because I agree with you, Graham. I think we're going to see other stuff too. Maybe especially that very first week of October. So, is it too much already for gamers, and are we going to have to make some hard choices here?
Always making hard choices. And that's
like
I said, because that's kind of that's kind of when I get kind of like cutthroat on making my decisions, because a lot of these games they demand a lot of time, and if they're constantly supported and all that stuff, so that's why I normally pick my shooter, and then I go with the adventure games, or so basically if it's gonna be Red Dead and then Battlefield, it's not gonna be Battlefield and Call of Duty. So basically Battlefield takes over Call of Duty for me. So Yeah, like, and we just mentioned when does Shadow of the Tomb Raider come out?
September.
That is September.
September. Well,
Like
thank God.
early September.
Because I was just thinking games that I
Wow.
know I'm going to get for sure, and that's what I'm getting for sure.
It's not
Yeah.
like September's that much lighter. I mean, Spider-Man and Tomb Raider come out a week apart as well at the beginning
Yeah.
of September. At
Yeah.
least you have a month between like Spider-Man and Red Dead, so play a lot of Spider-Man, so you're done by the time Red Dead comes out. At least that's
And
what I'll
then,
be doing.
and then on top of that, Steve, if you like sports games on top of it, you're really screwed.
Yeah.
So it's,
What did they call October? Like, it wasn't last year's October, but the year before. It was, and it happened in February last year. There was a fun little name. Like, October had like 7,000 releases of like really good games.
yeah, it
And
did.
then it's just like the killer.
And last
of
year's
your
did
wall.
too, actually.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
It-
I mean,
yeah.
it wasn't as good, but it was still there was
Still
some
pretty damn
games.
good. But yeah, I agree. So let me ask you guys this question, and then we'll kind of move on.
Well,
We
I
talked
want
about-
to answer that first question.
Oh, go,
I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
real quick. So I'm curious as to how many. I feel like people either choose between Call of Duty and Battlefield, and I honestly wonder who's still in the middle of this, like flip flopping back and forth. Because I feel like you're either like me and you kind of prefer Call of Duty over Battlefield, or you're like you and you prefer Battlefield over Call of Duty, or
Mhm.
like you get both, and eventually, at the very least.
Yeah.
And again, I don't actually think Red Dead's going to compete with this. It just sucks for owners of, it just sucks for people that like all of those games, because now you either have to drop $180 or pick and choose. I honestly think Call of Duty and Battlefield might see some sales decline though because of a week or two before.
No, not at all.
see
And
that.
and the reason this situation's been created is because Call of Duty got the hell out of the way of Red Dead.
Yeah, and I think Battlefield would have been better off releasing 2 weeks before Call of Duty at the end of September, and then right in between Call of Duty and Red Dead, because there's a chance Call of Duty will pick up the early people that are just craving the shooter, and then now Battlefield, not as many people pick it up because, well, Red Dead comes the next week, and you just got Call of Duty, so can you really afford dropping 60? I mean, a lot of people can, but
Yeah,
Well,
and along with that mix too, like I'm sure Bethesda's going to throw something out there. And what if Cyberpunk comes out? Like if people
you're
can choose
dreaming now.
Cyberpunk. Yeah, wow. Well, they said they're going to show it, and it's going to be lengthy.
Well, sure, they'll show it.
Like-
I mean, Sony's shown Days Gone for like 3 years.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, hypothetically, if it did come out, like if people had to choose between Red Dead 2 and Cyberpunk, like that's
Red Dead 2.
Yeah,
Red Dead 2 wins
not
that
for
battle
me.
easy.
Not for me.
Not for you, but in overall, like Red Dead 2 is going to win that battle.
Oh yeah,
But, like,
Red Dead wins because
The Witcher 3 is arguably one of like the best games.
Yeah,
Like that's been
GTA
made
is the highest
so
selling
far.
game of all time ever.
All time.
Yeah, but that's
And-
GTA. That has
It's
cars.
Rockstar.
Some people really enjoy the car.
No,
aspect.
it's not the cars.
Shut up. It's
Like
nothing to
I'm
do
telling
with
you,
the
man,
cars.
the driving around is my least favorite part of GTA. So,
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, there's
But-
vehicles too. There's helicopter. Like,
Oh,
what do you think in
Graham,
Red Dead? You have this
You have a
horse,
horse.
no.
or you have that
Well,
horse.
You
Wait,
have a zebra.
this-
Okay,
this
people
horse-
love that freaking zebra from the
this
first
horse
one.
might have a buggy attached to it, but
No,
still a freaking horse.
no.
Graham,
Graham.
don't make me bring out the list of symptoms of being a fanboy.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Go on.
So, no, there's like CD Projekt Red is an awesome developer and they are super respected, but in a matchup between them and Rockstar, they get knocked the fuck out quick in terms of like public perception and what people are gonna buy. It's Rockstar has the market cornered there. Like even your Bethesda titles, Graham, don't stand a chance against a AAA Rockstar title coming out.
Well, they have a strong following though. Like it's, I know they'll be higher than them, but it won't be a huge margin. Not as big as a margin that you're thinking.
Well, it's not going to happen.
No.
It's not going to be like right up
I'm
against each
talking-
other anyway.
No. That's fine.
So there's that. But all right, so
I just gotta band my people together.
okay. So let me ask this question. So if you can only buy 2 of the 3, which one are you leaving off the table?
Well, you know my answer already. Call of Duty, gone.
Okay, Steve?
Save $60 and only pick up Red Dead.
Well, that'd be saving $120, but you can only buy 2 of the 3. So
Well, he is a math.
Yeah, but
know.
I'm saying if I only buy 2, why not just only buy 1 and then skip the other 2? Because I honestly $60 isn't worth it for Modern Warfare or Battlefield because,
yeah.
well, I mean, I'd probably pick Call of Duty just to be different. No,
Okay.
whatever you guys play, just because I like playing the shooters with people. So,
Yeah.
by your choice, I'll play Battlefield. But honestly, neither.
All right. And if I had to choose, I would take I would leave Call of Duty off the table.
Yes.
That's
My
just
man.
me.
My man.
That's just me.
Yeah, I know.
And just to clarify an earlier point I made, Grand Theft Auto is the highest selling video game in the U.S., not across the world.
Right.
So
Well,
apologies,
we-
just clarification.
We were talking world here.
So, yeah. All right,
It's the third high.
let's move on. We've talked a lot about shooters already. So, Death Stranding, a game that we're going to see at E3, and hopefully we see some more of, and hopefully we see some more gameplay.
Maybe this is a shooter too. We
Yeah.
have no idea what the hell it is.
We don't know what it is, but we know now that it's going to focus a lot on collaboration, and what they mean by that is like social media, and this is one of those things where, you know, you're going to collaborate with other people via social media across the world to achieve some things in the game. So, is this something that appeals to you as a player when you think about how you want to play games? Is this something that is appealing to you, or do you want more of that single player focused experience? Graham, let's go to you first.
You know, I don't know. Like, I feel like as like a community, like people who like do a podcast, or if they're like they got like this online network of people like all over the world, then it could be good for that. But if you're not into social media and stuff like that, like people don't like being forced, like you have to do this in order to participate in this. So like, I don't know. I really don't know the specifics of what they're trying to like achieve by doing this. Like, and I know everyone has faith in Hideo Kojima because he really can't do anything wrong. So that's like, I'm gonna make kind of comparison with Nintendo. Like some people are like, oh, that is ridiculous, and like nobody's gonna want to swing a controller around like that. But sometimes taking these risks like this could pay off like tenfold. So who knows? It could be a great thing. It could strike it big. Like we know how big like the online gaming community is getting now, and social media is tied into it. Like with Discord being like tied to Xbox, but now like your Facebook and your Twitter, like and Instagram, like everything's all being combined. So it could actually work out and could create something beautiful. You never know. I will be the optimist here. So
wow, Graham used the word beautiful. That's something. Steve, what do you think? Is this type of game
I felt
you want?
inspired.
You know, it depends what type of collaboration this is. I don't think you're gonna have to go like a Facebook page and then type in like a message there. But to be honest, like Metal Gear Solid 5, I put probably 50, 60 hours into it, right? And there was a collaboration to, you know, nuclear disarmament across the game. And honestly, I had no idea what that even like was, like how to do it, what was needed to like try and do it. And so I just ignored it because it didn't explain it very well. So if they explain it fine in Death Stranding, then sure, like I could be a part of that, especially if I don't have to like do multiplayer type stuff. If it's co-op, I'm all on board. I like co-op. Multiplayer, and honestly, whether or not I get this game depends on how much like player interaction is involved. Because MMOs are cool, right? But because you can play a lot of it like by yourself. like PvE Worlds. I put a lot of time in the Old Republic, and that's an MMO. But you could play with people like helping you do your missions. But you could play by yourself. It wasn't required to like PvP all the time. I don't like player versus player stuff if I don't have to. So if it's that, I'll be less hyped. But if it's like PvE and everyone trying to work together to accomplish a goal, that I can get behind, and that'll get me pumped.
Yeah, so when I first heard about this game, it seemed like it was going to be just a super cool, like immersive single player experience from, the creativity and the mind of Kojima that kind of only he can bring. And now that I'm hearing this, it's just, I'm more confused about this than I ever have been. And, I feel like I'm just not sure what to expect. Like Norman Reedus himself has said that he has no idea what this game's even about. And he's like playing the main character.
Yeah.
So I'm still really, really excited for it. Like this is a game I'm absolutely going to get. I know people that have already pre-ordered Death Stranding. So, I'm super excited. I'm going to get it. But I want to see more D3. This just kind of raises more questions than answers for me. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they present there and if they expand on this a little bit. Like, this was really vague, this announcement. So I'm hoping that we get a little more clarity on it once we get D3 here in a couple of weeks and get some better answers. But that's where I'm at on it. So do you guys have anything else on Death Stranding?
We should place bets on when we think it's going to come out.
Yeah, we've kind of talked about that already.
Week. Next week.
Not next week. I don't think it'll be next week. Imagine if they dropped the ultimate bombshell at E3 and we're like it's out. No, even more so. And they talked about it and they're like, by the way, it's out tonight.
No.
You'll just hear heads exploding.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'll clarify. I meant next week we will talk about placing.
Okay.
Okay. That's what I
Yes.
Or maybe on the Sony conference. That'd be a good time.
Yeah. By the way, not one of my predictions that it'll be out that night at E3.
That's what we call a reaching prediction.
Yeah.
That's not even a reach, Graham. That's just like a fucking.
Yeah. It'll be out that night, like 4 years from now. So, but yeah, Death Stranding. Looking forward to seeing more. So, a game we do know is coming out this year.
Yes.
Is Madden NFL 19. And I'm a super huge fan of this. I love playing Ultimate Team in Madden. And the cool thing for me and anybody else that loves Madden is that this game's coming out earlier than it normally does. This game normally comes out right around like the 25th-ish of August, whenever the Tuesday on that week falls. But this year, you can get it. If you purchase the Hall of Fame edition, you can play Madden NFL 19 on August 7th. I'm so excited for this. I can't wait. The picture they showed, by the way, in their Twitter account was of Terrell Owens. So I'm guessing he'll play a huge role in Ultimate Team this year and be a pretty highly rated card. So, any excitement on this? Like, Graham, I know you're a huge NFL fan.
Huge. Yes, massive, massive.
So,
when you're talking about Madden 19 coming out early and all that stuff, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking, does this mean NHL 19
I know.
coming out early?
That was the first thing you asked me.
Yes.
So, wait,
I'm like,
Graham, way to be aware of what gets me excited and happy. Right away you just thought about yourself.
Not all about you, Tyler. Sometimes it's about me.
Well, so Steve, any excitement from this? I know you're kind of on the fence usually about Madden. I know you had some fun with it last year, though.
I did enjoy. I enjoyed playing with you guys last year. You and then we had one of the members from our community who played with us in a couple of those 3-on-3
squads.
Team. Yeah, squads. Those were fun.
Yeah, they were kind of fun.
I know Tyler got mad when we just wouldn't pass to him, but he couldn't catch, so why would we throw it?
Had nothing to do with that. So
no, it's cool. Like honestly, I'm surprised more sports games don't do this because my highest hype level for the sports coming out is like the first week of preseason, and so because it has been gone for so long and now it's back. baseball, it's a big one. It always comes out like right before the season starts, but I'm pumped like when spring training kicks off.
Yes.
Like pitchers and catchers report, I'm like, hell yeah, baseball's here. And I'm not joking. And so I hope to see a shift of these games coming out right at the beginning rather than a month into the preseason or right before the season starts. Does NBA even have a preseason? I don't know.
It does. Like it's not talked about a lot, but
NHL doesn't really have a long one either.
Although like preseason games in Canada, Graham, are all on like national TV, like kind of like NFL preseason games are here.
That's
true.
So
it is a big deal here.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
We love our hockey.
I hope FIFA comes out earlier too, though, because that one annoys me the most. Because the Premier League starts in like August, but FIFA doesn't come out till like October, or I think it's actually September.
It's September.
But
it's like mid-September.
It feels it's like 2 months into the season, and I'm like, God damn it, I want to play FIFA with my updated squads.
Yeah,
and it's part of the reason I skipped FIFA 18 this year. It's because I had 17, and the season was midway through, and Arsenal was not doing so hot in the Premier League, so I was like, I don't really want to pay $60 for the upgrade. But no, I like the idea of it coming out early, and I will be getting Madden 19, and I hope Terrell Owens, he might even feature in like the long shot or whatever if they do continue to have a story mode.
I hope they do.
I know I saw a little something on like one of the Facebook groups, like a little meme is like, instead of Terrell Owens, why didn't they have Brady dropping the football from the Super Bowl? And I would have definitely spent the the $80 or $100 for that, even if it was in the Legendary Edition, because that was the greatest moment.
Sorry, anybody out there that's a Patriots fan, but it's hard to feel too bad for you because you've won like every other Super Bowl for the last 10 years.
You guys are sorry. I am not sorry at all.
But anyway, I think though, from a business standpoint, like this is one of those things where they're getting some breathing room between their two biggest sports franchises, which are Madden and FIFA.
And NHL. What? FIFA?
No.
What?
Graham, not.
No, obviously he's talking about NBA Live, Graham.
Yeah, no, not that either. So, and then we're not even going to talk about like the PGA announcement this week. That has me upset.
We should though.
But yeah, we should. But we'll just fill everybody in. If you like the Tiger Woods series, sorry, because EA let their PGA license go. They just didn't renew it, or PGA didn't renew with them. And now the golf club actually has the PGA license. So I am excited to see what they're going to do with it. But I always loved the Tiger Woods games. Had a lot of fun with those playing online. Rory McIlroy wasn't as good, but it wasn't as good because it didn't have courses in it.
Yeah, it had like what, 6 courses?
It had 8. It had 8 at launch. 8 at launch, which is not enough. Like the normal Tiger Woods game had like 18 to 20. Yeah, 18 to 20. And then they had DLC courses along the way. And there were some courses I always got with DLC, like Banff Springs in Canada, Graham, where you could play like 2 months a year. And the one in Hawaii I always really liked. And there were a lot of other courses in DLC. But Rory only had 8 at launch, which was just not okay. And that had a lot of people upset. Plus, they took Augusta out of the game. And they took all the online modes out of the game other than just stroke simultaneous play. So the things like alternate shot were gone and 4-ball were gone and things like that. So that made online just a ton of fun to play.
Yeah.
So, but the golf club's got to step up now and create better online play than they've done. They have really good mechanics, and it's much more realistic than what EA did. But they have to step up and create a better online portfolio for their players to play in. So there's that. But anyway, we didn't mean to get on golf here.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the sports things though, do you think that the reason they're moving Madden up is so they can move FIFA up, so it doesn't conflict with Battlefield and Call of Duty, or do you think there's not enough overlap in player base?
No, there's not enough overlap in player base, and FIFA's one of those games where I think like FIFA, Madden, Call of Duty are in that like rarefied era of games that they're the only game somebody buys all year.
Yes, I agree. Like some people just play sports games.
Yep. So there are some people out there who only play Madden all year. That's it. There are a lot of people out there who only play Call of Duty all year long. And then I would guess that in Europe, there's a lot of people who only play FIFA.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're worried about that at all. I think they're just trying to create more breathing room between Madden and FIFA so that players don't have to choose.
So you don't think FIFA's getting moved up then?
I don't. I think it's going to stay right where it is. It usually comes out right around September 20th, right in that range. So I think it's going to stay right there. Yeah, it was actually a little later, but usually it's like 1 to 2 weeks after NHL and about a month after Madden. So
probably won't be on the Switch either. I wouldn't think FIFA.
I don't know. We'll see. I can guarantee Madden won't be. I'd be really I can't guarantee, but I'd be really surprised if Madden was on.
It would be amazing, amazing, which is probably not happening. It's a pipe dream. If NHL came on the Switch,
that won't be the one. They would do FIFA and Madden first.
Yeah, just because it's not big enough.
And yeah, honestly, it's not with the way Nintendo announced their whole online thing, if I was EA, I don't even think it's worth it.
No, I don't either. I agree with you 100% on that. So anyway, Madden 19, August 7th for anybody who purchases the Hall of Fame edition, which will have all the Ultimate Team packs and everything. So that is the edition I'll be getting. Up next, let's move into some Xbox news. So State of Decay came out this week, and I want you guys to talk about it a little bit. You both played it. I don't want to get super deep into it here because we talked about Call of Duty and Battlefield for a long, long time.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think of State of Decay? Early impressions. I'll give you each like 30 seconds to kind of just wrap up your thoughts on it. And Steve, let's start with you because I'll let Graham come in and be duckies and bunnies at the end.
It has a lot of systems and none of them are fleshed out. And like the driving's not very good. The shooting, I mean, it's not really a shooter, so the shooting's kind of realistic, I guess. Like it's not perfect, but it's kind of how just a random person would probably be at shooting a gun in a zombie apocalypse, like with no training. The combat's like I was listening to another show and they described it like a lot like Fallout Shelter, and I think that was the perfect like description of it. It was like Fallout Shelter, but like in a zombie like third person shooter game, because it's the management. You have to worry about food, medicine, ammo, and all that, and you have to go scavenge. But there's not really a story. There's no hook to it. It's not like bad. I mean, it's a game that functions for the most part. There's I haven't run into bugs, but I know a lot of people had. I mean, you can be your fluffy unicorn, Grambo, all you want, but there's nothing like redeeming about the game. It's just not bad. It's just not good. It's just okay. And that might not be worth it to some. I'd be upset not upset, but I'd be like annoyed and regret if I spent $30 on it. The fact that I get it for basically free, but I spend $10 a month on Game Pass, so I get it to play it that way. Like that's cool, I get to try it out and I can go back to it whenever I kind of want, but it's not a game I would have been happy that I spent $30 on. And actually, after seeing the reviews, I might have like canceled my pre-order because it's just it hasn't changed from the first one really at all, minus the multiplayer. And Graham, we kind of played a little of it, but after an hour, I was like, this is boring. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little too negative. It's just compared to PlayStation, and that might not be fair, but compared to the PlayStation 4 exclusives, this is like not good. Like,
well, it might not be fair, but that's the natural thing to do. And I was going to ask, like, do you think it's hurt by the fact that people are naturally going to compare it to God of War?
Yes, and since God of War just came out, and even Detroit, which is coming out to arguably higher scores, and they're not even close. You can't really even compare the two. But over the last 2 years, the PlayStation exclusives have been phenomenal, whereas Xbox exclusives have been mediocre. to use the Mad Max Fury Road.
Well, here's the thing though. Name one Xbox exclusive from 2016 on that you could go tell a friend like you have to go buy an Xbox One because of this game.
There has been none, and the only thing would have been the launch title of Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah,
And that
Well, I
ship
mean,
has
there's an argument to be made for like Halo 5 multiplayer. There's arguments to be made for other things. Like Gears of War 4 was actually a pretty damn good game, and that came out in 16.
It was.
That came out in 16, so that's the only one.
But by that point, you knew if you liked Gears of War or not. Because if it wasn't enough, 1 through 3 weren't enough to interest you, 4 would not be enough. Forza, like PlayStation, I don't think Gran Turismo is as good. It's not. And
it's not.
Sony fans are kidding themselves when they say it is. But other than like you have a good, it's a good racing game. It's just not as good, but it's still really good. So that Xbox has nothing to bring people over, and State of Decay continues the trend of not having enough to bring people over.
All right, so Graham, outside of those expectations, because those are pretty high, that's setting the bar high. Like, what are your thoughts on the game? Is it fun? Is it something that you'd recommend to people that already have an Xbox? What do you say?
I'm a big Walking Dead fan. I say I'm a big Walking Dead fan, although I haven't finished the last season. I'm like 5 episodes, whatever. But it does remind me a lot of like The Walking Dead, where like you're in a story where you're driving a vehicle until it runs out of gas, and then you gotta like scavenge for gas to put in the vehicle so you can drive. But overall, I think this game is fun. I would spend $40 Canadian, which is probably $30 American.
Yes.
I think it's worth $40. Not more than that. It is a lot of like management and stuff like that, but I think it does a survival based game like zombie apocalypse. I think it does it very well. And like Steven was commenting about the driving is terrible. Well, me personally, like these games where you drive, I'm not that good of a driver. I crash into shit and all that stuff. I've actually been driving pretty good in this game, surprisingly. Like I even backed into a stall and I didn't crash it up. And this game offers co-op, and I think if you have enough people in co-op and stuff like that, you can enjoy it. And personally, I don't think Steven has given it enough time, but there isn't really like a story where the game like creates the story, but you actually create the story. So like I started it, and you pick between 2 people. They could be brothers and sisters, or they could be partners or best friends, or like just a kind of different people. And I went with the brother and sister, and I was doing my own thing. And like when the game starts out, it's like you're basically the game doesn't teach you a lot. You just gotta like figure it out on your own. And like I'm rummaging for food because I know my community needs food. And my brother, meanwhile, he's getting impatient. He's like, find any food soon. I'm gonna leave because I'm not gonna stay here and starve. So I thought he's not gonna leave. He's my brother and all that stuff. Well, nope, my brother, he's up and left. He's gone. And the funny thing is, when he left, then there weren't too many people in my community, and then morale started getting raised, and there was enough food, and people were happy. So then I'm like, well, I'm kind of happy my brother left because I didn't really make that connection with him. But then I'm wondering, will I see him again? Will he come back and try to raid me? Or is he will I see him later and be like, oh, I want to join up? So I think the game has a lot of nice, good features to it. And like, it is a bit buggy. Like I did run into the one bug where the gate wouldn't open and close and stuff like that. But like as a Fallout Shelter comparison too, it's kind of like that, but it's open world too, which Fallout Shelter is not open world. So basically you can explore and you can go too far out, and it's like kind of like XCOM. Somebody can die and they're gone, lost forever. So I think it has a lot of neat little features. It's better than I thought it was going to be, and I'm interested just to keep building and see what else the game offers. And at one point it could just bottom out and become stale and I don't care anymore. But as of right now, I enjoy it, and I think people, especially if you have nothing to lose, it's on Game Pass. Give it a try. I would say give it a try.
Let me ask this, Graham, and before you go, Steve, let me ask this. So, do you think it appeals to a broad enough base of players? In other words, is it like too niche, too narrow of a focus
Yes.
to really bring people in?
I would say yes.
Okay.
If you're not into managing a community, like some people kind of compare it to like a Sims kind of thing as well.
Okay.
And like all the characters, they interact with each other different ways and stuff like that. So it's got some appeal to it, but overall it's zombie survival game with managing. That's it in a nutshell.
It just doesn't do anything well. Like, you brought up that your brother left the community. That's not entirely, like, realistic, because he probably left pretty quickly, too. And like, in real life, like, if you have a brother, and, like, that's the origin story, you know, your brothers, your, like, friends or whatever, like, your brother's not going to leave your community, like, so willy-nilly. You know, he'd probably be the last one.
Merle left Darryl. Or Daryl.
Well, sure.
See, like, I kind of made a comparison like that.
But not really. Like, and the combat's not good. It's not bad. It's just not good.
Combat's a little rough.
It does its job, and that doesn't make a fun game. But to me, the reason I know it's never going to get better, because it's literally just, okay, we're running low on medicine. Oh, go to a place to scavenge medicine. Okay, now food's low. Go scavenge food. Okay, now I need to build something. All right, well, here's the materials.
Yes.
And then go scavenge materials, and then now I can build something. But there's not a lot of, like, locations to build in the outpost. So now you have to go build a new outpost. And to me, it's so grindy, and, like, it's not even fun. Like, it's not... The most fun is going out and doing it, but that gets old pretty fast. 6 hours and I'm already bored of the game.
Okay, in that sense, does it suffer from the same thing Sea of Thieves kind of suffered from, of having to kind of do too much of the same things repeatedly?
Yes.
Okay. Graham, do you agree? Just maybe, you know, I think the stuff you're doing in State of Decay is more your type of thing. In terms of, you know, the collecting, the crafting, all that stuff. Do you, like, looking beyond that, is it too repetitive for, like, casual mainstream gamers?
Like, I'm thinking it could reach that point, but it has not reached that point yet. Because, like, it's even when you're, like, playing, like, mobile games where you work on, like, building your base a little bigger and it takes time and stuff like that. And, like, you can, like, do mods to your kitchen. And, like, I learned, like, I was listening to a podcast, and they were talking about, they were out scavenging or whatever, and they found a OG Xbox, and they, like, brought it back. And I guess if you have a lounge, you can, like, set it up and people can be, like, kind of entertained. So
that's kind of cool, by the way.
Yeah, that is really cool. When I heard that, I'm like, wow, that is really cool. And the thing is, like, it is a grind at first, but I feel like after, like, if you get an outpost, which, like, it could be like a store or a building, well, you get, like, a benefit and a perk from that. So I think eventually, like, the system will sustain itself, and then, like, you would leave this community because they're well established, and then you can go, like, start up another one. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I got to put in more time, and I'm not bored. Like, I'm interested to go back into it, and like I said, it has the co-op feature as well, and I think you can have up to 3 people, so that can be interesting as well. And then you can carry more stuff. So, no, I think it's a good game.
No,
and Graham, I'm not shitting on the game at all.
No, that's fine.
I'm just trying to kind of find where it is. So let me ask this: you guys have played it, I've not. You guys know what I like. You know, I mean, I like a fairly broad base of games, but I hate the crafting aspect of games. I generally don't like the grindy stuff a whole lot.
Yeah, it's a bit grindy, but there's no real crafting in it though. Well, like, there's a little bit, but nothing serious. It's more scavenging, like going on runs. Like, that's like a Walking Dead term.
Do you like fetch quests? Do you like fetch quests? Because that's basically the game.
It depends. Like, because Sunset Overdrive had a ton of fetch quests.
It did, yeah.
But that was way more fun.
That was different because the atmosphere of the game made them fun.
Yeah, the atmosphere does not make it fun in this one.
I'm not going to tell you whether you would like it or not, Tyler. I think you have to try it for yourself and see. Like, what Steven makes it sound like it's terrible, it's horrible, you should not even attempt it.
I just know
I'm not saying it's amazing, but I think you should try it.
So that's my question.
And don't like go into it too thinking like like Steven, like like
No,
don't let him
I don't.
think
I don't
that
ever
you're
do
not,
that.
like-
I go in
I know
open mind.
You're smarter
to a
than
game.
that.
I go in open mind to a game. Like I don't go into a game ever looking to hate it. And even games, Graham, like Fallout, which I ended up like I won't even say I didn't like it. It's just not for me. It's just to whatever. But I went in like really, really, really wanting to like that game. Same thing with Witcher 3. And I can see that it's a great game and it's super well done. It's just not for me.
Amazing story.
See,
Yeah.
I love, and I really do want to like State of Decay 2. I'd probably come off. Some of you guys might think that like I just want to hate this game. No, I
Sounds
want
like
to love every game. It's just not. It's not that good of a game. It just does too much, and none of it does. None of it's fleshed out. I love management games. Okay, those strategy games, civilization games are my jam, and I love stuff like that. SimCity, Sims, all of those, love them. Expand it out. This one, not really. There's no like. It's like to me. I asked the question, "What's the point?" And the game's like, I don't know. If this was like The Walking Dead, the TV show, which it's almost like halfway there. It has all the aspects, but it didn't flesh it out enough to be close to The Walking Dead TV show, where like you create the community of it's been a minute since I've watched The Walking Dead, but in like season 4 they go to that community, and then if it was like
Terminus.
that, then yes. Maybe no, the one before.
No, Alexandria.
With the governor.
Oh, the governor.
yeah.
Woodbury. Woodbury.
Yeah, Woodbury.
Yes.
So if it was like Woodbury, it'd be like cool. You create a Woodbury system, and then, or you create your community with Rick, and then you find a Woodbury. The problem is, I don't see this game having a Woodbury, a system where you can go to this community, and then you're not quite something seems off.
There are multiple communities, though.
But none of them seem fleshed out enough to give a shit. That's my problem. Is why should I give a shit about this game? Because how I am right now, there's so much to play, right? My backlog is ginormous. I have like 300 games in my backlog. There is so much to play that it's like, why should I spend my time playing you? And I have limited time. I work and I go to school now. Summer's over. I don't even know I'm school, but you know what I mean? So games need to give me a reason to play them. And while The Walking Dead isn't bad by any stretch of the imagination, I mean, State of Decay 2. Sorry. State of Decay 2 is not bad. It's just, it doesn't give me a reason to want to play it. And that's what Sea of Thieves' issue is to me. There's no reason, there's no hook to playing it. God of War, amazing story. Heck, I've gone back to Breath of the Wild. It's given me a reason to go back. It's an amazing game. The Witcher 3 gives me a reason to want to go back to that. That's still in my back. State of Decay 2 does not give me a reason to play more than the 6 hours I did. Now, I'll probably pop it in for 30, 45 minutes at a time, cool, kill time, and that's fine. But it doesn't have me wanting to, like, come home from work, sit down, and play this game for 10 hours before I go to bed.
I personally see... I personally see this game as being... And granted, that's awesome.
Yeah,
and
I know.
Again,
I was surprised, actually. I didn't expect me to like it as much as I did.
And I'm not like shitting on the game. It's just, I see this as a game for a pretty narrow audience of people who are going to be like, this is amazing. I love the, that aspect of it, sort of the grindy, like, survival, having to keep your group alive type of thing. And I think the people who like State of Decay, that's going to be the game that they play almost exclusively for months. But people like Steve who have a lot of options, I can see where he's coming from too, where it might not keep him when there's other things that might be more appealing on the horizon. But I think it's smart. Looking at it now, kind of post-mortem, so to speak, like super smart by Microsoft to include Sea of Thieves and State of Decay in Game Pass.
Yes.
Super smart. Because I don't think either of those games, like Sea of Thieves stood a chance. We all thought going in, Sea of Thieves was going to be a game that might even change the way games are made. in a way, and it wasn't. So, I think it's fair to say, guys, that every time we play Sea of Thieves, we have a little bit less fun with it.
Yeah, I can kind of agree with that.
Yeah, and honestly, I think it has to do with some of our moods going in.
Maybe.
You were pretty sick the other day when we were trying to stream it, and that probably brought us down a little bit because we could feel it. We played with each other for a year now, actually over a year. We know how each other works. So, but Game Pass, 100% credit to Microsoft. I love them for this, because I would have been upset with paying $60 for Sea of Thieves. I think. I honestly think I would. And I would have been upset with $30 for State of Decay 2, to be honest, as well. And I'm curious if they knew that they weren't going to be amazing is the reason they, decided to put all the games on Game Pass. That's kind of conspiracy theory borderline a little bit.
I don't think you're wrong, though. I think they wanted to be ahead of the game, and they knew that they had these exclusives coming out, that they were maybe good but not amazing. Not God of War amazing, certainly, and really probably not even Detroit Become Human level. Yeah. So let's get them out as part of this promotion that we have, part of the service that we have, and that creates some goodwill, hopefully, at least maybe enough to get them through to E3.
Yeah, and it buys them time.
That buys them time, and they have to deliver in 2 weeks. There's no way around that. At this point, I'm more convinced than ever now after seeing kind of the feedback to State of Decay. And Graham, I love that you love it, but
I would say love.
I think Graham
I love that you like it.
Graham just likes it because I don't.
Yeah, look, Grandma, I love that you like it. I love that you like it. But there's a lot of people that are like, it's okay. And I think the amount of people that love it is going to be a fairly narrow group of players.
Yeah.
But that convinces me more than ever. Microsoft has to deliver huge at E3 in 2 weeks from now. And we're going to cover that next week when we do our E3 predictions. So make sure you subscribe so you can catch that. Anything else on State of Decay, guys, before we move on? Because we're suddenly running a little short on time.
It's on Game Pass.
Yeah, check it out for yourselves. Don't listen to my negative Nancy or Graham's positive Patsy, reviews of it. It's not bad for killing time. Just go check it out for yourselves, and then let us know what you guys think.
I don't even think Graham was that positive. I thought he was pretty fair.
I
talked about what he liked, and he didn't make it sound like Game of the Year. But if it was if it was a Switch title, it'd be Game of the Year. But
well, that's true.
But anyway, speaking of Game Pass, Graham, you brought it up.
I did.
We're getting new games on Game Pass in June. So
anything good?
Steven, Disneyland Adventures.
Hell yeah!
MotoGP 17, Next Up Hero, Technomancer, Wasteland 2 Director's Cut, and Mega Man Legacy Collection 2 all coming to Game Pass in June. Now, real quick, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but it seems like there's more games leaving Game Pass every month than coming to it. Is that a concern at all?
Well, it definitely seems like the quality of games is maybe going downhill a little bit, but I'm not super worried. It's new. It's new. Netflix has this all the time where stuff leaves and stuff comes, and some months more stuff leaves than comes, and some months more stuff comes than leaves. Yeah. So that's really all the comparisons we can really have is a movie thing like Netflix or Hulu.
Sure, because that's what it is. It's a video game version of Netflix.
Yeah, so. it's a new thing. So I'm not worried. Now a year from now my tune might change, and honestly I might cancel Game Pass over the summer depending on how much Sea of Thieves we plan on playing, just to save $30-$40.
Sure.
Till the winter comes.
Yeah. By the way, Netflix, totally off topic, but Star Wars Episode 8 is hitting Netflix next month. So if you're a Netflix subscriber, you'll have that, and if you're not, great way to watch it. There's a couple of other really cool movies hitting in June as well, but Episode 8 hits in June. So,
good to know.
Yeah. So, Graham, Nintendo.
Yes.
and I'm excited to hear how you think this will be the most amazing thing ever. But Nintendo filed a trademark for the N64. Well, that sparked some rumors that the Nintendo 64 Mini's on the way.
Okay, we've speculated this for a long time. The the NES Classic sold like wildfire, so much wildfire that this guy here could not get his hands on it, and I was angry. I was close to getting it. I should have had it, but I didn't get it. I'm not going to go into it, but I was angry. And then the SNES Classic was announced, and I'm like, hell yeah, I'm getting this. And I was able to secure one of those. And they're all sold out, though. They're really hard to get. As they get released, they get sold. And thank goodness they're releasing more, so everybody who wants one should be able to get one. So why wouldn't they do it with the Nintendo 64? And the Nintendo 64 had some amazing games. One of the best Zelda games, Ocarina of Time, and also Majora's Mask was on it. But it had GoldenEye, Diddy Kong Racing, Mario 64, like Star Wars Rogue Squadron, like, and probably so many other ones that I haven't played or I just missed. So this thing will sell amazing as well. I'm sure the GameCube will probably come out, and maybe that one won't sell as much, but like that probably had great games as well. So I'm not surprised, and I'm super excited. And that controller, like, I don't know, like when that first came out, some people thought, like, what is Nintendo doing with this controller? But the yellow buttons, I don't know what the hell you would call them, the strafe buttons or whatever, like. I remember like GoldenEye, like where you would use it like go around corners, so you'd be always looking straight. Like that was genius. So I'm excited, and I will get my hands on one if God willing I can do it.
All right.
Hopefully you're one of the three.
Yeah. I'll just say really quick. So a Nintendo 64 Classic Mini.
I actually own one.
In other news, water's wet. I mean, the first two were so successful. How can they not?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, of course, it's going to happen.
And no wonder they canceled Virtual Console, because they want to milk this cow for all it's worth.
Yeah, I 100% agree on that. So,
yeah.
And don't know, we're not getting into Graham the 20 games they pick for you and all that.
No. But I was just gonna say, and it's got the nostalgia to it as well.
Oh yeah.
Like. So people will buy it for that. Those things look neat. Like even if you don't like use them, if you just like set them on display, like if you got the NES, the SNES, and the 64, like that's gonna look nice.
Well, thank God I have a lot of room on my entertainment center because.
Well, they're pretty small. You don't need a lot of room.
I don't care. I'd rather just have it on the Switch, Virtual Console. But anyway, so the nostalgia part does play a role for sure. You're right, but. Yeah, I'd rather just have them on the Switch or Virtual Console, but whatever. We're not going to get that.
I'd buy both, so it's fine.
I know you would. I know.
Not just because I'm a Nintendo fanboy, because it's an amazing system. It's got some great games.
You're right. It is.
It's nostalgia for me, man. Like, I remember when I played Ocarina of Time. It's one of the greatest experiences of my life.
For sure. Because you never talk about Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
But I can
All
if
right.
you guys want.
No, we're good. So, that's going to do it for news, everybody. Let's wrap it up there and head into releases for the week.
Now in stores.
So let's start with Xbox. We get Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection on May 29th. Sega Genesis Classics also on May 29th. And, oh, sir, the Hollywood Roast on June 1st. And remember, you can get Super Mega Baseball 2 free with Games of Gold through the 31st. You can also get Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, speaking of great Kojima games, also in May. So let's go over to Steve. What can you get on PlayStation?
All right, so all three of these games release on the 29th. You can get Harvest Moon, Light of Hope, Agony, and Knights of Pen and Paper +1 Deluxe Lure Edition. And yeah, and then for PS Plus games, Last Chance, you got about a week. For Beyond Two Souls and Rayman Legends. Graham, Nintendo.
Okay, switching over to Nintendo. No pun intended. We got Harvest Moon. Also, Steven just announced it, but that is also coming to the Switch on the 29th. Then on the 29th, Tyler mentioned it for Xbox with Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection, also May 29th. And another May 29th release, we have RBI Baseball 18. Get them while they're hot. That's it.
Bam.
All right, Steve, what do we got for questions this week?
All right, questions. Let's go number 1 from Betsy on Facebook. Asks, what was the game that got you into gaming, the game that hooked you? I could go first.
Sure.
It's pretty quiet there. It's funny. My game was Harry Potter Quidditch World Cup. I got a GameCube for Christmas one year. The first game I got was that game. And I played the ever-loving shit out of it. And it was because I was a huge Harry Potter fan. And then from there, I expanded into other games. And now I play literally everything. But I still credit Harry Potter Quidditch World Cup as my first game and the first game that hooked me.
Okay.
Go, Tyler.
Good. All right, I'll go. For me, like I've said on the show before, early on in my gaming life, I was mostly a sports gamer. So I'm gonna have to go with NHL '94.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yep. That's a game when I was a kid, so I had literally a 3-ring binder where I had sheets where I had made up box scores. And because the game at that point didn't keep track of stats for you. So I made up box scores in every game I played. At the end, I'd record who scored, who took penalties, whatever, and I keep a stat sheet throughout the year.
Wow.
And I just got super involved with it and just loved every second of it. So it was great. NHL '94 for me, and then mainstream gaming, probably Call of Duty 2, maybe BioShock. Graham, how about you?
Okay, it's tough because I've had my moments. So I don't know when I got into gaming, when I just consistently keep playing games. But I'll tell you one of the games that I probably played the most out of and enjoyed when I was a kid, and that was Super Mario World. That game was awesome. Then when you learned about the keys and unlock the special world, the whole aspect of that, seeing what gaming was. And probably one of the early ones I got was for the Super Nintendo would be Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. When that was probably the first puzzle game and stuff like that. So it wasn't until later on in life when I consistently just kept playing because I kind of drifted away and stuff like that. But when I probably got my Xbox 360 and I continued straight on was probably Modern Warfare and Fable 2. And then I just kept playing. So that's a few answers, but I didn't exactly know the right one to give you.
Well, only you know the right one, Graham. So
Okay. Piracy asks, who has the better standard controller, Xbone or PlayStation 4?
So, Graham, I'm going to let you go first.
Do you really want to know? Okay. It's definitely the Xbox one, but what really grinds my gears is that damn options button on the PS4. It could be the other button, the capture or whatever the hell that button does, but sometimes you got to use that options button. And it's pretty much flush with the controller. Such a terrible design. I don't know who thought, what a great idea. Let's make this button hard to push. Because it's a button, it's there to push. Make it a little higher. Make it easy to push. So you didn't. But I heard there's a new controller coming out, a PS4 Elite controller, which, lo and behold, what did they fix? The bloody options button, because you needed to. Oh, thank God. All right, I feel good now I got that.
Are you going to spend $200 on that controller, Graham?
No, because I don't play enough PS4 games.
So, I'll go next then.
Sure.
I'm with Graham. I won't spend $200 on that either. But I agree that it's the Xbox controller, and for what they're doing with the PlayStation Elite controller is the offset thumbsticks. I much prefer that. Plus, the controller is a little bigger. I don't even have that big of hands, but it's just more comfortable in my hands. Mm-hmm. And battery life. I know you have to spend $30 extra on the Xbox to get the the battery, the rechargeable one.
Yeah. Sure.
The battery pack. But PlayStation's battery lasts 20 minutes. Okay? The Elite controller for Nintendo, I know this wasn't a question, lasts 45 hours of playing. That controller has the best battery life, so props to Nintendo. why can't PlayStations? Because PlayStations feels like it lasts like 3 hours. I know I made a joke about 45 minutes, but I prefer the Xbox controller. Tyler.
Yeah, to me, it's the Xbox controller, hands down. We rag on Xbox a lot about a lot of things, but they know how to make a controller.
Yes.
Period.
Yeah.
So it's been that way. 360 was the better one, and once they got away from the Duke, which now funny is something everybody wants again.
Oh, I love the Duke.
I know, but I'm still kind of thinking about getting one. But
I don't think you can anymore. I think
is it gone?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. But anyway, I did get the Sea of Thieves one, which was the best part of Sea of Thieves was the damn controller. So
the sweet controller though.
Yeah. So, but Xbox knows how to make controllers, hands down. Like it's them without a doubt. And that damn light, like I still can't figure out what the light is for on the PlayStation.
To annoy you.
Yeah. So anyway, one more question, real quick.
Okay. Ooh, real quick. All right, we'll go with Nuka then. Nuka asks, how do you feel about competitive-only multiplayer games like Rainbow Six Siege or Overwatch?
I'll go first. I mean, they're fine. That they don't hook me for a long period of time, but they're easy to jump in and out of, kind of whenever I want to. So I do like that part of it. I don't necessarily feel the need to play it constantly and all the time. I think games like Overwatch, you don't have to play constantly to be great. You can jump in and have a good time, do different things. Whereas other shooters might not be quite like that. So I don't know. I'm fine with them. It's not like I prefer them, but I'm good with them.
Yeah, I actually really like them. Rainbow Six Siege was awesome. Overwatch, not so much. But again, I had people that played Rainbow Six Siege, and I didn't so much with Overwatch, and that probably had something to do with it. Mm-hmm. I don't have an issue with them. I do question whether or not they're worth $60. That's my only gripe. But I put a decent amount of time into Siege that may have made the $60 worth it, even probably more than the last Call of Duty that I paid $60 for. So that's my thing. Like, $60 is my only complaint, really. But Siege and Overwatch both did multiplayer only really well, so I can't complain too much.
Okay. Graham?
Okay, I've never played either of these games. I would have loved to have played Rainbow Six Siege, but the opportunity never arose, and I never bought it. I'm not that great at competitive shooters and stuff like that. But if I were going to try one, I would try Rainbow Six Siege because it's more tactical and strategic, even though I'm probably terrible at it, but I'd probably enjoy it more.
Oh, it's so
Overwatch is just run and gun, I guess. I know the mechanics is really good, but it never appealed to me at all. And when it won all these awards, it's like best shooter, and I'm like, well, maybe I should have tried it. But I wouldn't mind trying Rainbow Six Siege, and maybe I will try it sometime, but that's the one I would... And... yeah, some people really enjoy it, so all the power to them. Give them what they want.
All right. That's all the time we have for questions, everybody. Thank you for sending them in. Keep sending them in, because we need... we're going to have a bunch of time to answer questions as we head into E3 and during E3, every single E3 episode we do. We'll open it up to questions at the end, both live on Twitch and also from our community. So go ahead and join our community, the Gaming Hub forums on Facebook, or look into the show notes if you're a subscriber, or you're just listening, and you can join our Discord, Twitch, and follow us on YouTube, or subscribe to us on YouTube, however you want to do, wherever you want to follow us on. So we'd appreciate it if you do that. Guys, that's going to do it for episode number 97 of the Gaming Hub. We thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next week with episode number 98. Until then, everybody, have a great week, play some great games, and we will talk to you soon.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.